To our second topic, which is surprised sleeper. So this is my topic. This is mainly games that you felt like you took a complete chance on, and I'm actually thinking of one right now. But like you took a complete chance on, you had no, yeah,
Expectations.
you looked at
Maybe.
screenshots at most, and you're like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. So I guess I'll start with this one because it's
Yeah.
in my head right now because I
Yeah.
didn't
Go
write it
for it.
down. The Saboteur. Did you ever play the Saboteur?
I think I've played the demo of it.
That is a really good game.
I've heard. I've heard it's not
It's
as bad as
no,
people like
it,
make it out to
like
be.
got swept under the rug. I don't even know why the game was made, but it takes place during World War II, and you're in Europe during that time. And I don't even remember too much about it, but I remember I played it so much, um, like to the point where I okay. So when the 360 was around, did you ever install your music onto your 360?
No.
Oh, why not? That was
Because
like
I
a
didn't
cool
have any.
feature
I
of
didn't
it.
have any games that would let me play it.
No,
Underneath.
but what? They
Yeah.
would they would close them off? I never had a problem like that.
That's what I heard. So I never tried.
Oh, lame. All right. Well, what I did was I would take the CDs and I burn them right onto the hard drive,
Uh huh.
and then I would listen to music as I play it.
Yeah,
But
'cause I have had friends. I have seen it work. Like I had friends in high
oh yeah,
school
I did it all the
that did
time.
it, but
But
I never did.
it's like those so some CDs I remember listening to
Oh, it takes you
and
back.
playing. Yeah, so every time I listen to a song, I'm like, I remember what I was. So for example, like POD's "When Angels and Serpents Dance," when that album came out, I was playing Gears of War 3. So I would just have it on. I would just play through the whole album as I was playing Gears of War 3. So anytime I hear a song from that, I remember Gears 3. But for the Saboteur, it was oh man, do I have my
Yeah,
phone with
no, I
me?
gotta look because now I know we're getting a little off topic, but I have the same story that I can tell with you.
Well, I used to do that with the PlayStation 2 as well, of where I would be like, I listen to my radio
Mhm.
or I have like a CD in there, and play it as I was doing that. So, I want to get the album correct, so that's why
Yeah,
I'm kind
that's
of
what I'm
like
doing too.
going for it. But yeah, so when I was playing the Saboteur,
Excuse us while we're on our phone. We'll
yeah,
keep talking here.
I had "Thank Me Later" by Drake, his album, because it was the first like explicit album I had. And actually no, that's wrong. I had Akon's "Forever" album, and I had the explicit version of that,
Mhm.
but my mom wouldn't let me listen to it. But then when I was in like middle school, I think is when the Saboteur came out.
Mhm.
I finally got it. My mom was like, "Fine, you can buy the album, whatever." So I got that, and so I would listen to that song. So anytime I listen to a song from that record, I remember the Saboteur. I don't remember. I just remember driving around, and the story was okay. It was interesting though. It was a game where you could have a censored version, but there was a
Interesting.
code that came with it that would unlock
Like
the
an
uncensored version.
Oh, was it one of those one-time use?
Yes, and I didn't know what
Yeah.
it was.
I
so,
remember back when they used
so,
those.
so all I opened it up was, and I see like
It's-
there's a code in here. I'm
So-
like, oh great. I would read it, and I was like, oh, it just says things you unlock. But what I didn't read was the fact that it unlocked naughty bits, and I was like, "Uh oh, I've never seen this in a video game." Because like I didn't play God of War, because clearly it's in that game.
Yeah.
So that was the first game I ever played that was like,
That had nudity.
yeah, that had full-fledged frontal nudity.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was interesting because if you play the censored version of it, everyone has like, all the women have the little what do they call 'em? It's just, what do they call those? I can't remember.
Bra.
No, it's covered with like, it's the pasty stuff. They have those on.
Oh, but they.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And then if you have the uncensored version, it is not there.
Yeah.
It is full fledged.
I
And there's a
remember
beginning
that,
scene of
yeah.
that. So
I remember that era of gaming when to combat used game sales, there was always a code that came with the game so if you bought a used copy, you would have either
The
content
censored
locked
version.
or you
Oh,
would
yeah.
have a censor locked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember EA did that with a lot of their games. Like if you bought it used, you didn't have access to the multiplayer unless you
Yep,
bought the
they did
code,
that for a
so-
while, and everyone hated
Yep.
EA for that. I remember when
but the nice
having Madden and that had
yeah
that.
yeah sorry continue.
No. Go on your
Well,
thing.
the nice thing though about people hating that is nobody does it anymore.
Yes,
So
takes one screw up to make it all.
yeah,
well-known.
hopefully they're gonna learn. Hopefully them and the game listeners gonna learn their lesson about a particular issue going on right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
but
yeah.
we're not gonna get into that.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Saboteur was like a GTA kind of clone. But imagine GTA style sandbox game.
I thought it had like
In
Assassin's
War-
Creed elements in it too.
No, you didn't climb stuff.
Oh, okay.
You just kind of faffed about. Like I don't remember. Again, I don't remember too much of it, but like I do remember there is it. I remember driving around, getting in cars, crossing checkpoints, like having to like disguise yourself so that the Nazis don't see you as who you are, because eventually you start to, after you start doing things like to in I think you're in Poland. I think that's where you're at, and you might be American. I don't remember.
I imagine you'd probably be British or something.
I don't remember. No, I don't know, cause but yeah, so you're slowly seeing them like escalate the thing. I never beat the game, unfortunately, and I don't have it anymore. But it'd be cool to go back to. Like I might go and try and seek it out. But yeah, so the Saboteur is one of those games for me.
Nice.
I have a few more, but go ahead.
So
Give you one.
I'm gonna start with a game that's relatively recent, and you're probably not gonna expect me to say it.
Dark Souls. No, I'm just
Snipper Clips.
Oh, okay. All right.
Snipper Clips
yeah.
is a fantastic little puzzle solving game.
Yeah.
You know, uses physics, and Rebecca and I was it was like the first like multiplayer game we picked up because we were waiting for Mario Kart, and we went through it, and like I thought, you know, oh, it's $20 is a game we can play together, you know, why not? So we got hi big guy. So we got it, and it surprised me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. There were some parts that were a little frustrating, but it was probably just because we were like doing the puzzles wrong and just trying to force it to work. That's kind of how it felt.
Like putting a square in a circle
basically,
peg,
it's like-
or a square peg in a circle hole. I
Yeah.
guess.
And I was also surprised the amount of levels. There's like, I thought, because, you know, they show like the levels like all kind of mapped out in like a grid. And I saw that. I'm like, oh, there's like 20 or so levels. I guess, you know, $20 for 20 or so levels is all right. No, there's like 60.
Wow.
Something like that. I could be wrong, but like there was like 3.
Well, now there's DLC for it, so yeah, there probably might be something close to that.
Yeah, because there's like 3 worlds that you can do, and each of those worlds has like 15 or 20 puzzles in it. And I thought that game for $20, if you want like a nice, cute, fun little puzzle game, I thought it was fantastic.
That's cool.
It's super cute, and I really enjoyed playing that with Rebecca.
Yeah,
if you've got a Switch, I think it's, in my opinion, it's just one of those like must-have co-op games. If you want a good couch co-op and you're like tired of being mad at your friends on Mario Kart, you can be mad at them on Snipper Clips.
Yeah.
Because there were some points where it was like, no, we should do this. No, you need to do this.
Yeah.
No, but I need you to do. So it's like usually you just we got to the point where like we would take turns on the puzzles and be like, all right, you're taking charge on this one. And then the next one, all right, I'm taking charge on this one. You know, so that way we're not like arguing.
Yeah,
with
you had
each
to get
other,
the teamwork element going.
Yeah.
It's kind of that's cool.
But I definitely, I think you can download like a free demo of it. But I'm telling you, for just $20 for a download that I think it's only like 2 gigs.
Yeah, well, it's bigger now. I don't think you can buy Snipper Clips by itself anymore. But
It comes with the
DLC, and I think it's a little bit more now. But
because I know the physical cartridge is 30, but
okay.
you can snag it we snagged it for 20. So
yeah, it's one of those things that goes on sale because it's one of the first games, so it just goes on sale.
But yeah, I think I don't really have much else to say about Snipper Clips other than that, but it really surprised me.
Cool.
And Rebecca and I really enjoyed it. We haven't gone back to play it since we've beaten it. For us, it was just like we just played it just the one time. But we, it wasn't just like one session. Like it was over like a couple weeks that we played it. But we haven't gone back to play. But it's enjoyable. It's at work. I always tell people like try the Snipper Clips demo. It's fun because everybody comes on and they just play, Zelda, Mario, and Mario Kart. And I'm like, no, there's other games.
Yeah,
You should try Snipper. There's two of you here. Play Snipper Clips.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be my first one. I'll go with Snipper Clips.
Okay. I guess my second one is I'll save the one I have written down first for the last one because it's something special. But Alan Wake is another game that I completely slept on because it came out at a bad time.
I'm on board with you on this one. I'm not gonna steal it from you, but you go. This is.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Wake is one heck of a special game. And the fact that it's backwards compatible means there's no excuse. You need to go and buy the game. I think it was free for a while.
I think it was on Games for Gold for free at one point, but I think that was a while ago.
Yeah. But yeah, so Alan Wake is truly just one of those Xbox games that's like
a gem.
Yeah, it came out and it got very much. No one cared about it because Red Dead was coming out in like a couple months later, or it was already out or something like that.
It was everybody was comparing it. Was comparing Alan Wake to.
What game would that be compared to?
No. It came out at the same time as. Why can't I remember the name?
Do you need to look it up? I can banter.
The Origami Killer.
Oh, Heavy Rain?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that was it. Heavy Rain was getting all the attention.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, I remember it came out around the same time, and it was Sony's big story exclusive
versus Microsoft's
big story exclusive. And I remember.
And everyone jumped with Heavy Rain. That makes a lot of sense.
And everybody just because it was different and all that. And it was at the time.
Who wouldn't want to play a game that's about a writer going through, or that's writing about a writer that's going through the first writer's writings about the writer? Follow that one. But yeah, it's good, and it takes place right here in the Pacific Northwest. It takes place in Washington specifically, and then you see all of these advertisements for Microsoft. There's a lot of advertising in that game. Like you get Energizer batteries.
Yeah.
You get the car that Alan and I can't remember her name.
They're like red, like SUV.
Well, yeah, it's using Microsoft Sync, which was like their testing grounds for trying to get into cars. I think Sync still exists, but I think it's called something different now. But yeah, you would say like Microsoft Sync, like on the little display pad, but they would never reference it. But yeah, that game was really good for like a thriller suspense game. Like there's not very many like suspense games. There's horror, and
like jump scares,
and very jump scary stuff. And not to I mean, that game did have its share, but like it really hit. It's kind of like
psychological. It's like the difference between
it's a Stephen King novel. It's sort of novel.
I was gonna say it's like the difference.
It's not one-to-one Stephen King novel, but it is based on those kind of things.
Yeah, it's like comparing 80 like a Mike Myers horror movie to like a Shining
Michael Myers
horror movie.
It being the killer of Halloween.
Right.
Yeah, like because you had Mike Myers and I'm like, wait, where are we going here? But yeah, so I was like,
Halloween?
So I married
Halloween,
an axe
right?
murderer? No, that was that's Halloween. That's Halloween.
Yeah, but it's a Shining kind of horror.
Yes, very much The Shining is what I get obviously because it's a writer, so I guess that's a very big pickup for that.
Yeah,
But yeah, like man, the game was just so good. Like it was just so good, and like it's one of those things I really do. I want to go back and play it again. That's another game that I just want to go back and experience again. I might play it here on the channel. I got a lot of other things to play.
I remember the moment when you're in like the field and you've got like the rock stage and you've got to like fend off
the rock and roll
horde.
that's right.
Like, fend off the horde. Oh man, that part.
Yeah, that's right.
That part, man.
There's like a cool, and all those achievements are cleverly named too. I think if I remember correctly, like, and then it was weird how Alan Wake was set up because it was episodic without ever being traditional episodic, like the ones that we know today. It was like one of the first to do that, I guess, because
Yeah,
like it had
it,
chapters.
like, broke itself up
Yeah,
into
yeah.
chapters. Yeah.
Which was interesting. I honestly didn't really care for that, but they always had a cool song at the end. So, and it was like, usually it was made for the game.
Mhm.
Some I think were copyrighted, but I mean, I guess they're all copyrighted. But yeah, Alan Wake, just an amazing story game. Like, just you want to go on a thriller, that's just an awesome game. So that's one game I slept on.
All right. This one I don't know. I don't want to say I
You drew a thumbs down on one of your things.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
There's an actual thumbs down
Uh-huh.
drawn. Okay, that's pretty good.
So the next one for me, I don't want to say it was a sleeper for me because I didn't like it wasn't a game that came out and I came back to it or something like that.
I would classify a sleeper as a game that came out
Yeah.
and then you totally bypassed, but like a year or two later you went and played it.
Oh, then this one wouldn't qualify for me.
Oh, okay.
It was a game that I got without like any expectations. Just kind of like, sure, I'll try it.
Yeah, I think that's sorta like, I guess news wise you slept on the news.
I think I'll pass on that one.
Okay, save it for a different time.
Yeah, I'll save it for
Okay,
time.
all
This other one, which is I will say a sleeper surprise, is what I'm gonna call a sleeper dud. A surprise in the bad way.
Yeah.
Because I was pumped for this game. This is kind of the opposite. I was hyped for this game. I was pumped, and it really let me down. And it was a recent release of just this game right here.
Mass Effect. Okay.
Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda.
I was wondering what MEA, and I was like, all right, I know ME, but yeah, okay.
It's one I wish I slept on.
Okay, yeah.
But
way
I
to tie it back.
didn't.
yeah.
I wish I waited for.
You
the
were
reviews.
blinded.
I was blinded by the Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think you can. I know you haven't seen on camera, but Ryan can see. I went all in on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I mean, you got just like one pop vinyl. Yep, you do.
No,
there's
I
like
have,
a whole arsenal up there.
I have the whole cast,
Yeah.
including
The exclusives,
including the Target exclusive PB, the GameStop exclusive Sarah, and the Best Buy exclusive Sarah. The only one of those I don't have is the regular PB, and that was just because I learned my lesson.
Yeah,
about the game.
you're like, oh, you already had the
like,
game at that point.
Yeah. And I won't get into it too much because I'm sure our viewer. It just, I mean,
the big letdown.
It's a big letdown. The story was not great.
But you've mentioned it as, if you don't look at it as Mass Effect and you just look at it as the game of Andromeda,
I think
it's fun game.
Better.
Yeah.
It's yes. Yeah.
But you got to take the Mass Effect off of that whole thing.
Yeah, I think if Mass Effect wasn't tied to it, I think it probably would have been received better. Because I think the mechanics in it, mechanically, other than like the cutscenes, but I mean like the combat mechanics are nice and solid and fluid.
Okay.
The story doesn't make any sense, and we all know the hoopla and the memes of the facial animations. You know how my face
is it still broken?
Like, no. They've gone in and fixed the facial animations. It looks like it should have released now. I've gone through and I've played about a third of it since they've patched it, because I went through and beat the whole game before they patched it, and I went through about another third of it after they patched it, and it is significantly better. Like, it looks like how it should have been at launch. Still not perfect, but yeah, that's a game I wish I slept on and waited.
Yeah,
because as the viewers know, as you know, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and unfortunately for me, I went way too in. Sometimes
you just it just happens. It just happens. Yeah, you gotta.
And I seriously almost bought like the one with the little art, like with the little car, like the $200 one. I almost did.
Card,
and now I see those cards, not the RC versions, but like just the regular cars, you know, at like Best Buy for like $50. And I'm like, if that goes down to maybe 25, then maybe
pick it up.
But it's just like, that one. Yeah, as Ryan said, as you saw in my note, there's a big thumbs down next to that one.
Yeah, there's an actual like drawn thumbs down on the thing.
Yeah. So that was one I wish I slept on. Yeah, I thought I would do a little twist. On
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing,
no, it's
so
good. It's
I
good.
wish I slept on that one because I probably would have picked it up at this point, considering you can find it for $20 now.
Yeah, and it's on sale like all the time digitally,
Well, like
and you can get the recruit, the
the
deluxe
deluxe
recruit
recruit edition
yeah,
for like 20 or 30
yeah,
bucks.
when it's
yeah.
on sale, yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else for that?
No,
Okay.
I don't think I need to say anything else for that. But I thought I would at least represent. See, I bought this even before the game came out.
Yeah. Everyone looks at you and go, "Oh man."
There's a
like
reason
that
why
game?"
there's a reason why I rarely wear this one.
Yeah.
But I was like, part of the Mass Effect games are the hoodies. I have my Tally hoodie for the first series, and now I have this for what this game turned out to be.
Yeah.
This is a comfortable hoodie. Like, I like it.
Do you want to do one more? Like, I have one more.
I can't think of another one.
Okay. If you come up with one after I do mine, then we'll see how.
Yeah. Fine.
So my next one is it's very. It's a surprise for myself, I guess, and for the audience, because everyone would go like, "No, how can that be?" Is Disneyland Adventure is a really fun game. If when you step back and go, here's what you need to do in order to enjoy that game. A, you need to be a Disney fan. If you're not, you will give no crap about it, and you will honestly just pass right. You can pass right by it. Don't worry about it. This is not the game for you. Number 2, it's a kid's game. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that
it
in mind,
repeats itself several times. Like, it's not the 10 out of 10 game that you would expect it to be. It's very good though. It is it is not like it's maybe a 7 or an 8 like in my books right now. I have to beat the game for it. There's a couple times where it irritates me though, cuz like the first mission that a lot of people know, because when you look up the game, this is exactly what you see from the very beginning. Mickey. So there's different types of missions, and there's only about 4 or 5 different types of things. There's the go and do this for me missions that I like to call. There's
the fetch quest.
Yeah. No. There are fetch quests where it's like, go collect these things for me. And then there's the ride missions. And then there's just the rides that you can just ride on, and it is exact simulation of that ride. So, for example, the go do this for me missions consists of the very beginning. You meet Mickey Mouse in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle. You don't go down Main Street. You pop right into Sleeping Beauty's castle, which is fine, is whatever. But I'm like going through the game like point A to point B, wherever the gold little trail takes me, I'm going to those, even though it doesn't require you to. I just do that anyway. So Mickey goes, "Hey, here's an autograph book. Can you go get Donald's autograph?" So, and that's all he tells you, and you're like, "All right, cool." So you go to Toontown, which is where Donald's house is, and he's standing right in front of it, which like he always does at the theme park. And you can get an autograph from him. So you get the autograph, and then you walk back to Mickey, which is in front. If you've been to Disneyland, walking from Toontown to Sleeping Beauty's castle is a bit of a walk. So anyway, I go back
to the scale to your character.
It is very 1-to-1.
Okay.
But there's some things where it's like kind of shrunk down, like a bridge is a little bit shrunk, or like the drawbridge is a little bit smaller than what it normally would be. But it's very much the same as Disneyland.
So I gotta ask, is there like AI all over the place, or is it just like a big empty ghost town?
No. There's AI all over the place.
Oh, okay.
And there's sometimes where I'm like, they'll sometimes throw in more AI in a certain area, and I'm like, this is real Disneyland right here. I'm like, this is exactly how it would be. Or I'd want to go on like a ride, and like the line is, it's a ride I can't actually ride, because it's like that where they didn't put it in the game. It's there, but it's not able to be ridden.
Right.
So, like, for example, Storybook Land, whatever that ride is called, I call it that because it says right on the flower bed. But there's a line that you can, like, stand in, but it doesn't move, or, like, it doesn't, you just can't ride it, which is weird because it's a pretty simple ride if I remember. But anyway.
Get those important ones in there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so after you go get the autograph from Donald, you have to go back to Mickey, and then Mickey goes, "Oh yeah, I need you. But this autograph book's not for me; it's for Goofy." And Goofy was standing right next to Donald, and you're like, "What the heck is this?" And so you have to go back to Toontown, and you have to go talk with Goofy and give his stuff back. So there's things like, I haven't had a stupid mission like that. That is the very like first thing, and it's a very turn off point. But when you like progress through it, like sometimes the fetch quest would be Ariel's mission is, hey, I need you to go find like a couple dingle hoppers for me, which are forks for those non-Disney folk. And so you go around and find all the dingle hoppers. You come back, you give it to her, and call it good. And she's like, oh, thank you, blah blah blah. And then there's the ride attraction levels that have each chapter. For the first one you do is the Matterhorn, and there's like levels on the Matterhorn. You go to the Matterhorn where it normally would be at Disneyland, and you would ride it. And then by doing that, there's chapters in it, and you get to like ride a bobsled or have a snowball fight with the abominable snowmen that took Goofy. It's all explained. Just that's how it works.
Oh, okay.
Because
I don't remember that right.
Yeah, no. It's very different. Like obviously they've added a
Right.
story to it and then like made it video gamey. And even those have they're kind of the same. Also, another thing to know, it's a Kinect game. Like it is a Kinect game on the 360 that got ported to, tying it all back to the first topic, that got ported to the One, and in the One version they took that you can still use the Kinect, but they put the controller option there. The problem with that is there's times where like you have to like match something and it does it itself. Like it'll just do it automatically. Like you don't get to adjust your guy. He just boom, that's how like the counter will go down and you won't be able to do anything on your controller and you're like, why can't I do anything? And then all of a sudden it just goes boop and it pops back into like in the form he's supposed to do. But yeah, I mean it's a fun game. Like I as a Disney fan, as I'm wearing the Tower of Terror shirt, and I've worn several Disney shirts in the past.
Isn't that now?
This is now Guardians. Yeah, this was the Disney Vacation Club or the annual pass holder exclusive shirt for the final checkout.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's, but this is a hidden Mickey.
Yeah, I see it.
You see that? I have the final checkout shirt as well, which does say January something 2018 is like the last time that you could write it. But I bought it before that date. So, but yeah, it's a fun game if you like Disney, and it's coming soon right here to the channel. So there's so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I actually really do like the game. I felt like I wanted to get it, and I didn't really know what else to do with it, or like if I was to ever get it, like, would it be worth my money? Pulled the trigger on it. Yeah. I think it was a good purchase, so I like it.
That's good.
Yeah. Did you have a third game?
I did think of one. It was a game we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And so, surprise, surprise, going back to the remasters, there's going to be old Demon Souls.
Oh, okay, all right.
I had a PlayStation for a while, and I remember watching like the E3, intros and videos for it. And I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. And this was back like when, I don't know, I don't really recall much like word of mouth about the particular game. Like I went in when I finally picked up this game. When I picked up this game, it had become a PlayStation, like top seller. So it was like $20 in like the red case.
Yeah, it was already. I mean, I have that case. I still have that game because it's your
I let
copy.
you borrow it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
your
let
copy.
you borrow it.
Yeah.
You still got it. And for me, like I had never played a game like that. I just thought it looked cool, and I went all in, and I was surprised. I don't think I can recall getting so frustrated at a game before that.
Did you break a controller at any point in
No.
time?
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. I don't get that mad. I'm not that. The only time
Christian got that mad sometimes.
the only times controllers have ever broken from me is I have broken 2 Xbox One controllers, and that's because I was playing Lucio. Remember when that happened in the middle of the stream? Yeah, because with Lucio, I map his A's in Overwatch is jump, and for Lucio, jumping such a huge part of his how he is as a character, his mechanics as a character, that In order to keep my thumbs on both sticks, I mapped his jump to left bumper, and I pushing that button while playing him so fast. I've had 2 controllers left bumpers fall out of the controller on me. One of them
Wow.
was live on a stream when we were all
Yeah.
playing together. And so that's the only time I've ever really have had 2 controllers actually break, other than just like my thumbsticks in the 64 being so loose you can't use them.
Mine are still okay.
But yeah, Demon Souls, man, that game, whew, especially considering my very first time ever playing through a Souls game, I did it the even harder way. Not knowing because I didn't use sword and shield. I went dodgy roll around dual wielding, and that's if you played a Souls game, you know that is the much significantly harder way to go about a game. Not having a shield in that game is like not having any sort of like insurance policy or anything like that. Because it's just like you have like, but I beat that whole game with that character. The only time I needed to use a shield ever was there was a spider boss in a mine.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a shield for that fight, like just because of the mechanics of the fight. Like there's a specific attack to where like you have to get hit by the attack, because it's like it attacks you, and then there's a very small window for you to attack it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a shield, like you have to if you're not in its face to absorb those attacks, by the time you get up there to try and attack it, you're dead. So that's the only time in that game I've ever had to use a shield. And that, I think, was the most frustrating fight for me, because I didn't know I had to use a shield. And so I spent like hours going after this spider boss with no shield, just getting my ass kicked over.
Did you ever beat it without it?
No.
Oh, no. You had
you
to.
cannot beat this fight without a shield.
Huh. Interesting.
At least to my knowledge. There's probably somebody out there who hasn't, but for me and everybody I know that have played it, because I've always told people about that, and they're like, "Why didn't you ever use a shield? That's so much harder." I'm like,
I didn't know. Yeah, there was no websites I could look at.
Yeah, like things. Yeah, the internet, it wasn't quite
it
what
was
it
there,
is now.
but
It was there, and you could like look up stuff, but like it wasn't quite as information sharing as it is now. But interesting enough fact though about Demon Souls is I've beaten the final boss without a shield. My second playthrough I did with a shield. I couldn't beat him.
Huh.
I couldn't beat him, and I still haven't beat him on my second character using sword and board. And I don't know why, but yeah, but that game is, it's one of those games that, like I said, I hope Blue Point remasters, just because it deserves all the credit that the Soul series has right now. Like it deserves to be known as just that achievement of like of birthing this Soulsborne genre. Now, because it's really good, and it was such like a breath of fresh air, because I'd never played something on that particular era of consoles that was like, oh, you're gonna attack when you should have blocked. You're dead.
Yeah.
It's not. I always tell people, when people always ask about it, like at work or something, when it comes to the Souls games, like, I hear they're hard. I always tell them, the game's not hard. It's precise.
Yeah.
It's precise. It's precision. It's timing, and it will punish you for mistakes. It's not that it's hard. It's just it's trial and error till you learn the mechanics, and then it's executing it properly. And some of the fights, like, you can usually, like a boss, you can usually take maybe 2 or 3 hits, but in some you get hit once or you get stunned, or like that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, it took me forever. Like, there's one boss where, like, the big giant knight, you open the door and he's just in your face. He's in your face. He's like 4 times bigger than you are. And then around the courtyard that you're in are archers that are shooting at you.
Oh.
And so like when you pass, because you pass through the fog gate, right?
Yeah,
you step in, and you can't, and you're going through this animation. And while you're in this animation, he's prepping a swing, and there are already arrows shooting at you before you even have control of your character. So it's like instant roll, and then you got to run up and take out the archers first, while they're all shooting at you, there's like 12 of them, and then you go down and hopefully do your best to take out that knight.
Yeah, maybe I should just give you the PS3 and then let you go at it on that game, just to have you walk through it, memory lane.
Oh man, I mean, I could probably. The thing with the Soul series is once you understand the engine
Mm-hmm.
and you know the fights.
Did you get Bloodborne?
I did download Bloodborne.
Okay,
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I did download it. But I always hope that once you learn the engine, because the engine's basically the same,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn the boss mechanics, the game's pretty easy. Like I went through Dark Souls 3, and I think the average deaths that I had per boss was 2. Except for the I think it was an optional boss where he's on a mount and he flies. You're like you fight him like in the clouds, and the only reason why I had a hard time with him is in phase 1 he goes on this like dragon and will fly around. And the problem is one of the things that the game doesn't do well is its camera can be a little clunky.
Yeah.
And so you can lock onto a target and it feels and it reacts just like locking on to a target in the Zelda games, like in Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild. If you can lock on, I think you can lock on Breath of the Wild, and it functions very similarly. Like you can like circle around them and all that.
Yeah,
kind
you're
of stuff.
like locked on, and you're just like
you're doing that. Yeah. And the problem with this boss is he comes down and that's like when you can attack him, but when he takes off. That focus that you have on him, that lock breaks, and the problem is the camera doesn't quite look up high enough. So like you gotta instantly look up, and you have to find him. But the problem is while you're trying to find him, he's throwing like lightning bolts at you, and those lightning bolts are basically I don't think they one shot you, but when you get hit, you get stunned, and then odds are you're gonna get hit again, and you're gonna die. And I think it took me 11 or 12 tries to beat just that specific boss just because of that one issue. That one issue was the most frustrating thing in Dark Souls 3 ever, just because losing your target in Dark Souls is bad.
Yeah.
Is bad, especially when he takes up and you can't really even look at him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just have to guess, well, do I roll now? Oh, nope, I'm dead. Okay, well, do I roll now? Oh, no, I'm dead. Do I roll? Oh, no, I'm dead. You know, that's kind of how that was. And getting him to phase 2 was tricky because phase 2 was fair. I think in the times I did get him to phase 2, I think it took me 3 or 4 tries from phase 2. But getting to phase 2 for me was the hard part just because of that camera. But Demon Souls, play it.
Yeah.
Especially if
Word.
Especially if you've liked, you know, there's so many people that have played like the Soul series, but they haven't played Demon Souls. It's Demon Souls will probably always be my favorite in the series, probably just because it was my first.
That might be your February game. I mean, not your February game, your April game.
Yeah.
Where I just drop it off, just let you borrow the PS3 for a while. It just sits there next to me, so.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that game. I think the story in it was good. I especially like the fact that like you can't get invaded in your first playthrough because
I mean now it's probably shut down, so
I know they shut it down and then they brought it back up, but it might be down now.
And then who else would be there? Like,
yeah,
that's the other thing. It's like playing Journey.
There might be down now.
There's no one there right now.
Oh no, I bet you there's still if the servers are up, I'm sure there's people playing it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hate to cut you off, but we do have to move on.
All right.
To our third and final topic. Go ahead.